Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Referral Exchange Networking's Business Success Fertilizer Application. As we always say, it isn't easy to compete with companies that are bigger than you, they have greater resources. However, one thing they can't necessarily be is smarter than you. No one can tell you how much you can learn and how much of an asset you can be to your customers. That's why education is critical for small businesses. And that's why we at Referral Exchange strive to make our members and you just a little bit smarter every week. So let's get right to it. This week, we're going to talk about success through deconstruction. Now, the philosophy of deconstruction was developed in the 1960s by French philosopher Jacques Derrida, mainly for the examination and understanding of the relationship between text and meaning and the fluidity of language. Now, if you don't really understand that, well, neither do I. However, the act of deconstruction, whether in the physical realm or in our own thoughts and ideas and imaginations, is a tool that we can apply to our business. Traditionally, we tend to work from idea to product. As expressed by Napoleon Hill, American self-help author, best known for Think and Grow Rich, he said, first comes thought, then organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transformation of those plans into reality. The beginning, as you will observe, is in your imagination. George Bernard Shaw expressed a similar concept when he wrote, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last, you create what you will. Now, one of the great things about our imagination is that we always imagine perfection, a better way to do something, or a better way of life. Now, you might ask, well, why don't we imagine something worse? Well, you could. But I would put this in the category of worrying, which really isn't what we're talking about today. Typically, as articulated by Shaw and Hill, we are urged to use our imaginations to go from small to large, from start to finish, and adding things in piece by piece until we've built, at least in our mind's eye, what we imagined. Now, there's a reason why this method is so popular. It works. However, when we're having difficulty putting all the pieces together, there's another method we can look at, and that is deconstruction. When thinking deconstructively, we start at the end, like reading the end of a book first to see who the killer is. To use deconstruction, picture the completed project, the service, or the product. Picture it performing perfectly. Then, like a game of Jenga, start pulling pieces out and see what happens. However, unlike a game of Jenga, once you've pulled a piece out and imagined what would happen, what it would look like, put that piece back and then pull out a different one. You can pull out multiple pieces later on, but the purpose here is to get a feeling as to the importance of each individual piece. Once you've done this, you'll have a greater understanding how critical each piece is to the finished product. The next step is to ascertain the relationships or dependabilities of one piece to another. Which piece, once removed, would cause the entire tower, or in your case, project or product, to collapse. I especially like the analogy of Jenga because it's three-dimensional. Examining any construction on a two-dimensional plane or a Gantt chart limits your perspective, because the real world is not two-dimensional, and limiting your examination this way won't reflect the whole picture or reveal everything that could fail. Take the liberty to jump right to the end. Imagine the perfect outcome. Then, instead of starting from the beginning, deconstruct your idea. I believe that this approach will give you a faster and more realistic understanding of what it needs to succeed. Obviously, at some point, you'll need to take all you've learned through deconstruction and start from the beginning. However, I believe that you'll be better off knowing ahead of time what is most important to success, as well as recognizing how the pieces fit together and which pieces are dependent upon another. In this way, you can avoid false starts and backtracking, which for any business can be expensive. So I'll end this week with a question. Does anyone have an example of when they've utilized deconstruction in business or any other circumstances? Something to think about. All right, well, that's it for this week. I hope you got something out of it. If you'd like to talk about anything you just heard, or you'd like to know how you can grow your business by joining a referral exchange networking chapter, or even how to start your own chapter, reach out to me at raustin@referralexchangenetworking.com. That's exchange with an X. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of this video. Thanks, and I will see you next week. Bye.